Hey guys, it's Bonnie, and today I'm here to film a Netflix recommendation video. 'Cause why not? I haven't been to the theater in that long. Like, the last thing I saw was 22 Jump Street. And I blame Transformers for that. You know, Michael Bay, screw you and your 3-hour-long craptastic movie that does not deserve to be #1, like, at the box office and, like, with the most money in 2014. That's a rant for another day. So I decided, why not talk about Netflix? Because if you can't go to the theater, Netflix is the best, next best thing. Am I right, ladies? So before I decided to sit down and film this video, really rude computer, really rude. So before I decided to sit down and film this video, shut up. So before I decided to sit down and film this video, I, like any other person that might want to recommend some Netflix things, decided I should look at my viewing list, see what I've been watching recently. Alright, yeah, okay, some good movies here. Definitely gonna talk about that one, and, oh, what's this? Let's see, Orange is the New Black, Orange is the New Black, Orange is the New Black. So after scrolling past all those Orange is the New Blacks, I realized I haven't watched that many movies as of late, but I found some good ones from like February, plus like 3-ish ones I've watched recently, so yeah, let's get into this. I have 5 movies to talk about today. And they're all, like, indie-ish and kind of drama. Like, not like drama, like, oh, Brad, how could you? But, you know. I think I personally like watching indies the best on Netflix because those are the movies that I definitely didn't see in theaters and I probably wanted to see them, or they just have a lot of heart and soul, and I love indie films. They're my fave. So the first 2 I want to talk about are ones that I feel more people have probably seen, but I need to talk about them anyway, just in case you haven't, because you need to get in on this. The first one is Stuck in Love. That movie. That frickin' movie. It is directed by Josh Boone, who, if you didn't know, also directed The Fault in Our Stars. It has Greg Kinnear. He's like the dad. I think Jennifer Connelly plays the mom. I could be wrong. I should, like, click on it and, like, figure that out. Yeah, okay, Greg Kinnear, Jennifer Connelly, Lily Collins, Nat Wolff, Logan Lerman is in it, Kristen Bell is in it. It's just wonderful cast, and it is a beautiful movie. It's funny and charming, and it just makes you feel good. It's about, like, relationships, basically, and love, you know, stuck in love. But it's not, like, your typical romance that's just too, like, gooey, ooey, and, like, I don't know, it's good. It's not, like, cheesy, and I just loved it. It'll make you want to write a book, by the way, because the main dude, Greg Kinnear, he is a writer, and he always had his kids write. Yeah, and so Lily Collins' character, she just publishes her book, and then, yeah, it'll make you want to write a book, or read a book. The next movie I'm going to talk about is How I Live Now. This movie stars Saoirse Ronan. Don't know if I said that right. I love saying her name, although I don't know if I'm saying it right. I used to say, like, when I first started liking her, I was like, Saoirse or whatever. Then it's like, no, it's Saoirse or Saoirse, something like that. Anyway, and she is one of my favorite actresses, if you did not know. It is directed by Kevin MacDonald. Go Kevin. And it is based on the book by Meg Rosoff, I believe her name is. I didn't read the book before I watched the movie. I didn't know it was a book until, like, I heard about it. But this movie is so good. It's like a sort of dystopian-ish sort of movie. It's set in, I think they're in some kind of, like, London or UK, somewhere over there. And World War III is, like, bubbling up and approaching. And Saoirse, her character, she's American, but she goes to visit, I think it is her cousins that are in the UK, and she, like, stays with them for a while, like, things are going on, and, yeah, it just takes place from there. It gets kind of controversial at some points, but, you know, I loved it. It's so beautiful, so good. It keeps you going throughout the whole journey, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful movie that I highly recommend. The next movie I want to talk about is called Now is Good, and this stars Dakota Fanning and I believe Jeremy Irving, Irvin. I think he's gonna be in that like Fallen movie or whatever. I didn't read that book, but whatever. And again, I believe it is also based on a book, but I haven't read it because I saw it in like when I was watching the like, you know, the credits in the beginning. It was like based on the book Before I Die, which I don't know why they changed the title of the movie from the book, because the book title made so much more sense than Now Is Good. Like, that's a pretty lame title. The poster doesn't look that good either, but trust me, you gotta watch this one. This is especially good if you come home from watching, you know, The Fault in Our Stars and you're like, wow, I'm in a mood for another cancer movie, because like that's so much fun. No, but in this movie, our main character, who is played by Dakota, I forgot the main character's name, sorry, but she has cancer, and she basically was told that she is going to die, and so she has this kind of list of things that she wants to do before she dies. So she's like, you know, doing these things, living her life, being rebellious, all that fun stuff, meets a boy. You know how it goes from there. Again, this movie wasn't like overly cheesy. It was just very raw and real. It showed a different side of how cancer kids probably feel than The Fault in Our Stars does, I think. I mean, I wouldn't know. Never had cancer. Can't say that. Very thankful that I haven't. But this character in this movie is kind of angry, you know, and she just wants to you know, she's rebellious and she's angry, and I think it's a good way to also show how someone might be feeling when they have a deadly illness. It was beautiful. It made me cry. I loved it, and you should watch it. The next movie I want to talk about is called Short Term 12, and it's probably my favorite out of the ones I mentioned. I mean, I really like Stuck in Love, but this movie. It's directed by Destin Cretton, and it stars Brie Larson as well as a bunch of other people, but she's like our main chick. And basically she and like her boyfriend work at this place called Short Term 12, which is a place for, you know, kids to come and live. It's like a foster home for kids that, I don't know, going through a rough time or, you know, whatever their problem is. They come at Short Term 12 and they can stay until they're 18. Yeah. Basically, you just see her, you know, taking care of the kids, and then this new girl comes who she gets, you know, pretty close with and, like, really, like, trying to help her, and, like, it digs up a lot of her character's past struggles. The one that's working there, I can't remember her name. Wow, I'm really awful at remembering characters' names in movies. But, yeah, I don't even know how to describe this good enough, because it was just so good. It was so beautiful. It was just lovely. It was like, it's indie at its best. One of the best indie films I've ever watched. It is heartwarming and touching, and like, you don't even get that much time with these characters, but you feel so much for them, and every single one of them has their own little story without going too deep into it. But you just, you see these kids and it's like so sad, and they're just great people, and I could go on and on about this movie. I think I've used the word beautiful like for every movie that I've talked about, but this one is the definition of beautiful. Please, if you watch any of the movies on the list, watch Short Term 12. It's amazing, I promise. The last movie I'm going to talk about for this Netflix recommendations is Safety Not Guaranteed. It is directed by Colin Trevorrow, and it stars Aubrey Plaza, who is from Parks and Rec, one of my favorite TV shows, and that's basically the main reason I watched it, but it ended up being an amazing film. It's like a sort of comedy drama with some subtle sci-fi to it. So basically, Aubrey's character, hold on, I remember her name. I just gotta think of it. It's like weird. It's, Darius. There we go. Alright, so Aubrey Plaza's character, who is named Darius, works at a magazine as an intern. And they're coming up with stories in the beginning of the movie. And the one guy, one of her bosses, says, you know, there's this ad in the paper about this guy who is looking for someone to time travel with him. I think it could be a funny thing to kind of see what this guy's all about. Can I go and, you know, do this? And so he gets permission. He takes her and another intern with him, and they drive up to this place and basically stake out what they're gonna do. Now her boss, who I think his name was Jeff, he kind of really isn't that into the story, that invested. He has other plans to go do and like meet old girlfriends and stuff like that. So basically it becomes Darius's job to sort of track down this guy and just like figure out what he's all about and really get to know him. And get to know him she does. You know, we find him, his name is Kenneth, I believe, and he's just a very odd kind of guy. He thinks people are following him, and he genuinely thinks he can time travel, and that he's done it in the past. And, you know, as the movie progresses, you kind of wonder yourself, can he actually time travel? Is this just a movie about mental illness, or is there a subtle sci-fi kind of theme going on here in which they'll actually time travel? I also really loved the end of this movie. I'm obviously not going to go into detail, because spoilers, but it was just such an ambiguous ending. Like, you can really interpret it however you want. I have my own theory. So yeah. Alright, so that is all I have for this Netflix recommendations video. Let me know if you liked this. I definitely think I'm going to do more in the future. If you've watched any of these movies, let me know what you thought of them down in the comments. And if you have any of your own Netflix recommendations, feel free to leave them in the comments as well. Alright, that is all I have for this video. I will see you all next time. Bye.